This is discussion board 3, the response to the PARS model or approach. And our first question is some of the biggest takeaways that we have from the actual approach itself. And the thing that I found so interesting was the fact that it is relevant across all theoretical foundations, or it could be utilized through every aspect of counseling, whether it's person-centered, existential, solution-focused. All of those actual approaches to group counseling could utilize this actual approach, and it would be effective. The idea of having the group work in a system and understand their role in the system, and then being able to take that response back into their individual lives and their individual stressors is an important thing that seems to have been overlooked, or seems to be overlooked frequently in the actual group counseling setting. The second question is about how, like, a group that we would work with, or how would we use this approach in a group setting. And just recently I was working with a student, and he asked if we were going to do another group building or team building or thing of that nature in class again. And I said, well, what's the reason for asking that question? Because he said that he just was boring. And he said, I don't know, I just don't seem to get a lot out of it. So it was interesting to me that we were doing this actual approach, and we were learning about this approach as that question came up. And I think that the best way for me to utilize that is to make sure that if we were doing, for example, team building skills in a classroom setting with the students I work with, maybe Co-Ed 1000, it would be important for them not to just understand, okay, if we did true colors, what that meant to be working in a group setting. It would be important for them to be able to then process that all the way through and understand what those skills mean to them outside of a group. For example, you learn a lot about your studying skills, you learn a lot about your organizational skills, you learn about kind of your desire and your inspiration, introverted, extroverted, things like that. So that's really where I would see myself applying it, is more of in a classroom setting, and going through those team building introduction type processes with the students, and then making sure that it's not just for fun. It's not just an idea of, hey, we did this team building thing, I know I'm agreeing. Again, relating to true colors, it's really being able to take it to that next level and that next step, and recognizing that it's got to be a deeper connection. And then the third question is kind of some of the things that we might do to alter it, to modify it, and really what I feel like I would find difficult is being able to modify it in a time, with time constraints. So I don't do a lot of group settings or group counseling. Naturally, there is the opportunity for that, but the ones that I'm thinking of specifically for this discussion board, it would be, again, in a classroom. So being able to do a whole activity in 30 minutes, and then finding a way to either have them reflect at the end and then come back in and go into the discussion into a second class, or finding a way to do that processing skill at the end of a session. My kind of worries would be is that if we didn't complete it in the first session, that it would lose kind of that meaning. For example, if we did a team building activity and the students were really into it and they were excited about kind of the results, and you want to talk about what they felt like in the moment as a group, what they did, I think it would lose the meaning if you went into a second class or a second setting. So really finding a way to modify it to be able to fit into a one classroom activity. So that's my post, and have a good night.